What the fuck, Damien? What is that? What the... I'm gonna fucking cry with his root art. Hey internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to Seduce Me to the Demon War Damien's route. So we're finally starting the last boy and it's Damian. So before we get started, if you guys would like to download the game yourself, there's a link in the description where you can get it on Steam or itch.io. And if you would like to support the creator of this game, who is Michaela Laws and the voice of Diana, I will leave links to all her stuff at the bottom as well. And also if you guys want to follow Jonah Scott, who is the voice of Damien, I will leave links to his stuff as well in the description so you can follow him and all that stuff. But yeah, before we get started, I actually wanted to mention something because a lot of people talked about it already, but Michaela says she was thinking about creating another Seduce Me game. Seduce Me 3, specifically somewhere between the 10-year war, which is Diana versus the Demon Lord, but it seems a lot of people want more of the boys, and I can understand that too. And Michaela's thinking about breaking her canon because she did say Seduce Me 2 was the final game for the series, and that was it. She just wanted to leave it there. And she said if she could sell 1 million copies of either Seduce Me 2 or Remember by May, I think it's May 2018 next year. I'll put the post in the links in the description and on the screen. She said if she can sell 1 million copies within a year of either Seduce Me 2 or Remember. It can't be combined together, it has to be one or the other. She will make Seduce Me 3. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I can't afford it, I can't get that game. Guys, Seduce Me 2 is only $10. Remember is only $15. You have a year to get either $10 or $15. Doesn't cost a lot, and if you absolutely cannot get the game, another way to get people to get the game is going over to YouTubers. So YouTubers or streamers who are interested in Otome games specifically, because I don't want people to going around to other YouTubers being like, hey, check this game, and they only play Overwatch or something like that. Please do not harass other people on YouTube or Twitch about playing this game. Just ask them, suggest it, say it once. You don't need to like spam it on them because that is not nice to do. Just ask them if they'd be interested in either playing Remember or Seduce Me, and we'll see what happens. Either way, I'm happy to support Michaela whatever she does. I know she will do an amazing job if Seduce Me 3 comes out, but if it does not, I will still be happy because I know she will be putting out episodes and stuff, and I know she'll be making more amazing games, so don't be upset if it doesn't happen. It's just that if it does, then yay. Aside from that, if you guys would like to check out Seduce Me 1 for Damien's route, I have a link in the description for that, or if you want to check out the other boys, I have played every single boy for Seduce Me 1 and 2, so let's get started.
Damien is such a precious soul, and he deserves to be happy.
Yes, I agree with this. I told him I had no regrets. I told Damien that I did not regret for 1 second that I made a deal with Diana to make him human. I stood steadfast and knew that I knew what I was doing, but I still didn't like the choice I made. Something in my gut didn't feel right about what I did to Damien. Yes, I knew that Diana wouldn't have raped him, but what if she had? What if I gave her permission to do so, and I didn't know it? What if he didn't want to go through with it, and Diana really slept with him anyway? I mean, that's what I kept thinking, because the whole transaction is just like, we'll do it, and then I'll erase his memory, and don't worry, he won't remember it. But Damien said that he knew that we made a deal with Diana. So that made me like, okay, a little bit more comfortable, but it still goes in my mind, like, the whole transaction was really weird, because, like, the whole sleeping with Diana part, that didn't bother me, because, like James said a million times, sex is like their food. They need energy. It's not like oh, I am lusting for someone or whatever. That's not really their thing. It's not like humans. So, that's why it didn't bother me if Damien slept with Diana. Part that bothered me was, Diana said, I'm gonna erase his memory so he doesn't remember we did this. And I'm like, that's a little bit weird. You didn't need to do that part. I was mortified at the choice, but I had just wanted him to be happy. Every time he said my name, it made me feel so happy. Every time he held me or kissed me was a moment I craved in my memories forever to cherish. I loved him and I wanted him to truly be happy. Damien reassured me that Diana didn't do anything to him, but I couldn't help but imagine it, and even dreamed of it. Oh.
So, bastard son, do you truly wish to become human? You know very well that I am capable of making...
I like that in Damien's route that Diana is perceived as a bitch first, because when I was playing the other boys, we didn't see Diana until we went to the demon world, so I think this is really interesting that we still hold a little bit of a grudge stronger with Damien's route than the other boys.
I will not betray her trust.
What she doesn't know won't hurt her. Besides, Don't you want to be human so you can be with her and not put her in any danger?
Stop it!
Uh-oh. I couldn't stop the illusions of what Diana and Damien could have done from appearing in my dreams, like a scene doomed to repeat over and over. Diana, shrouded in shadow, whom loomed over Damien and showed herself as the evil woman she truly was. She's not that bad. Damien, however, would struggle, fight to get away from her. I didn't want to see this, but I was forced to watch the scene play out.
Stop it. What makes you think you're in a position to say no to me?
I won't do it, Diana. You can't make me do this.
Oh, can't I? Your precious little human isn't here to save you.
This is weird. I don't like this. I tried to scream, to protest and prove Diana wrong, but I knew that I wasn't there. I was merely a bystander to a dream I could not stop. I was forced to witness Diana chaining Damien up to a black bed and touching him in the most sensual but unwanted ways possible. Her nails and tongues running along his skin made both him and me flinch and whimper in disgust. Oh god.
Stop it!
This is weird! This is weird! I don't like this!
Are you not enjoying yourself? You're an incubus, and even more than that, a man. Surely you can enjoy this treat in exchange for your precious humanity.
I think, again, like you reiterate, this is Mika's imagination, right? So of course she doesn't see it like, oh, it's just energy and they need it for food and like whatever. So obviously she's like perceiving the situation like this. This was wrong. This was sick and beyond wrong. I felt I was on the outside small bubble Damien and Diana were in, and I was beating against the wall, trying to get in to stop her, but I couldn't break through. Each move Diana made grew more and more sexual, like a predator playing with its prey. Damien struggled, lashing about and fighting back against the chains that held him down, trying to break free. I prayed that he would. I screamed in the hope that he would be released from this. However, Diana glared and snapped her fingers, forcing him to gasp and his eyes glow gold. He began to quake, as if he was dying and starved like an animal, and glared angry daggers at Diana, who only laughed. What sent a deadly shiver down my spine was Diana looking over at me, as if she knew I was watching.
Remember, dear, you made this decision.
This is so weird! Diana chuckled before leaning close to Damien's face, licking over his mouth and straddling his hips.
She was a cute little diversion. But now it's time to have some real fun.
As Damien began to scream, I suddenly awoke from my nightmare, mentally unable to take being trapped inside of it anymore.
Huh?
Oh! Beside me, I heard and felt Damien rise out of the bed in response to me waking. I looked over at him, seeing him quickly rub his eyes and look at me with worry.
Hey, what's wrong?
Just having nightmares about you and Diana. I know he couldn't read my mind anymore, so he wouldn't have known what I had seen. I still couldn't help but need an embrace from him from the dream that I had. Grabbing Damien's arms gently, I began to whimper.
Huh? Hey, come here.
Damien gently wrapped his arms around my forehead and hugged me to him, petting my back. I let out a weak mewl, shutting my eyes and trying not to cry. Damien gently kissed over my head, trying to calm me down.
Everything's okay.
Oh,
It was just a nightmare. I'm right here.
this is really weird, but I feel like we should tell him about it, you know? His voice helped me slowly start to relax, knowing that what he said was true. It was a nightmare, not real. I couldn't shake all of the sadness from my mind, but I calmed down enough to not let it control me anymore. Damien rocked me gently, his arms wrapped around my body lovingly, as he softly whispered my name. My mind simply melted into a peaceful hum. Oh, I forgot, we had to put our name in here. Everything was okay now. Everything was fine. I looked up at Damien and rubbed my eyes and loosened his embrace around me. I'm sorry, I just can't stop thinking about the deal I made with Diana.
I told you before that it was fine. Honestly, it's nothing to worry about.
I think she's just scared because she doesn't know what really happened, and it's just, she feels guilty for agreeing to it before consenting with Damien. I think that's the whole reason why she's having nightmares. Damien gently kissed my forehead before pressing his to mine, nuzzling me softly. He stared deep into my eyes with a loving smile, one that made my heart ooze with happiness despite my worry.
I cannot be any happier than I am now.
Aww.
I'm marrying the woman of my dreams as a human. An actual human. I owe everything to you.
Damien? I rubbed my nose against Damien's, closing my eyes and wrapping my arms around his neck. I knew that he was being sincere and was truly happy. I had to get over my fears and deal with it. He was a human now, and we were both going to be married soon. My heart truly couldn't believe it. I was going to marry Damien, and we'd live happily ever after together. If only. It was so good. I couldn't believe the truth of it. However, I was always reminded of the reality of it every time Damien held me in his arms. Damien smiled before kissing my head and patting the bed behind me.
Come on. Let's go back to sleep. I'll be right here if another nightmare appears.
He's so cute! Damn it! I nodded and slowly fell back onto the mattress, cuddling up to Damien as he lay beside me. If the nightmares came back, Damien would be in my arms, reminding me that it was all fake and just my imagination. Everything would be alright. Sure it will, until we get sucked into the demon world. The night quickly passed by and the morning sun peeked through my window drapes and landed perfectly over my eyes, waking me up. I stretched and yawned and not wanting to just get up yet. However, the emptiness of the bed next to me made me open my eyes wide, finding no Damien beside me. Damien? I sat up and looked around the room after rubbing the sleep from my eyes. Damien was nowhere in the room, which confused me. Where was he?
Oh, good morning.
Oh. I looked over to the door to see Damien holding a tray of breakfast with 2 full plates of delicious food. Aww, what a sweetheart. In the vase beside my breakfast plate were 2 beautiful blue and white roses, which made a soft smile grow on my face. Morning, is that for us?
Yeah. I figured why not have breakfast in bed?
You're so sweet, thank you. Damien smiled and sat beside me, placing the tray both over our laps. The smell was practically intoxicating in the best way possible. Before we began to eat, however, Damien picked up the TV remote from the nightstand beside him.
James's big toy reveal is today. Do you mind if we watch it?
Oh, you're such a little brother. I shook my head, eager to see it as well. James had become the CEO of the Anderson Toy Company, so I was curious to see how he was doing and how the company was holding up. Apparently, it was rising higher and higher up the top businesses rankings and soon has become one of the top 500 businesses internationally. Damn! James CEO is amazing! I was proud of James, but I was more happy to see that Damien seemed to be his #1 fan. That's so cute! He was always giddy whenever he talked about all his brother's accomplishments. It was adorable. Damien grinned before turning on the TV and changed the channel to the local news station. It was one of the best news stations out there, and I was not being biased. Sure you weren't. Anyone who claimed to love Chicago knew it.
All right, so here we have an interesting story to tell. The Anderson Toys Company, an internationally famous toy business, has just recently announced a new line of toys in development. According to the CEO, the line is said to focus on fantasy.
Oh.
Let's take a look at the public announcement.
I am more than happy to show off our new line, Fantasy Kingdom, for you all this morning. These toys will not only provide friendship and fun for children around the world, but will help inspire imaginations and let creative minds grow.
Woo! Yeah, James! Alright! Cannot help but squeal when I saw it on TV. I lined up a row were adorable cartoon-like stuffed fantasy dolls, glimmering in the broadcasting lights of the TV station. There were knights, royalty, and creatures of all kinds, some not even truly fantasy. Damien, however, laughed quietly at the sight. Huh? What? They're really cute!
They are! Only a couple of them are real, though.
What? What do you mean? Huh? Really? My jaw dropped. Some of the creatures that were represented were actually real. I knew demons and devils existed, but there were more than them. My mind began to imagine all the creatures on the screen being potentially real. Damien nodded and pointed at the TV.
Vampires are real.
Nice.
But they don't look like that. They look like humans.
No way! There's no way that vampires existed. Damien, however, nodded and with a reassuring grin.
I promise it's true. Werewolves used to exist too, though
Nice.
they were killed off by the vampires.
What?
Let's see.
Between vampires and werewolves, I bias werewolves more. Now I'm a little bit angry. I looked at the TV to see vampire doll and werewolf plush sitting next to each other, being simply cute and stereotypical of what most people imagine them to look like. Damien then pointed to the screen again.
There. The angel toy?
Oh shit, yeah.
Angels are real too, only they don't look like that.
They're scary and veiny big hands, apparently. I looked over to see a beautiful gold-haired doll of an angel. They really didn't look like that. I tilted my head at Damien. How do they look if they're not like that?
Well, they look,
Damien rubbed his chin, unsure of how to reply. I could tell that he was being serious and wasn't lying about them looking different, but they seemed to be hard to describe. Damien then shook his head.
They look like old statues. It's really hard to say without drawing it out or something.
Yeah, and you forgot the veiny hands, because we fucking saw that in James's route. I really wasn't in the mood to get up and grab a paper and pencil, so I shrugged and let it go for the moment. Damien and I looked back to the TV to see the entire line pass by the camera, showing what toys were available. I'm surprised they didn't make like a demon toy, like a cat girl or something.
I don't think many people would understand it. Though it would be cool to have a demon doll.
I guess you're right. They're for kids, after all. I looked to Damien as he began to absorb the line of toys. I couldn't help but smile at how intrigued he was. It made me curious. Hey, Damien, did you ever have toys as a kid? Oh, I don't think you did! Oh no! Damien looked to me in surprise before shaking his head with a slight grimace.
No, I didn't. Matthew made some for me sometimes, but they were always taken away.
No! I frowned. I was sorry for asking, but Damien shook his head again and smiled. Oh my god. This precious cinnamon roll. We need to protect him.
However, when we came to the human world, I actually got one. It was a stuffed kitten.
Aww.
I didn't do anything, but it was fluffy and cute.
Damien rubbed the back of his head in embarrassment.
Must be dumb, huh?
No, it's not. That's adorable.
A cute toy like that?
It's alright. It's cute. Stop it. Damien stared in shock at me, but I was being serious. It didn't matter that Damien was a man. Cute toys were cute for a reason, and it was okay to think so. Yeah, fuck those stereotypes. You can think whatever is cute. Who cares? Having cute toys is not a bad thing at all. That's what some toys are meant to be. Cute. It doesn't matter who has them or how old you are. Cute is cute. It was just a fact to me. However, Damien couldn't help but chuckle softly before bringing one hand to my head and petting over my hair.
You are so adorable, you know that?
Aww. Huh? I blushed and looked over at my breakfast tray in front of us. I wasn't that cute. I felt myself rub the back of my neck in embarrassment. Shush. That made Damien laugh and kiss my cheek, forcing a gasp out of me. I looked to Damien as he smiled a playful grin at me.
It's true.
We both turned back to the TV and listened as James explained each toy in detail. I looked over to Damien to seem practically enthralled with the sight of his brother presenting his line. I gently nudged him, making him look back at me. Geez, you're making me jealous. It's like James is enthralling you through the TV to buy his toys. I, of course, was joking. Damien was very happy for his brother, especially James. With a raised eyebrow, Damien gently removed the tray from our laps, placing it on the nightstand before crawling over my body and making me lay back. I stared up at him in surprise and gave him a seductive smirk.
And what if I was enthralled by you?
Whoa, hang on 1 second. Are we doing the smut already? What the fuck? I was speechless. Damien was full of surprises, even as a human. He didn't have the ability to read my mind, but he knew exactly what to say to make me squirm. How is he this good? He was human now. Because he loves you, that's why. Damien chuckled before leaning down and kissing me. Despite him not being a demon anymore, his kisses were always so magical. They each took my breath away each time his lips touched mine. I loved them. I wrapped my arms around him and deepened the kiss between us, forgetting about what was going on with the toy line. All I could think about was Damien's kiss. It was sweet and passionate, eager to make my body quiver underneath the one kissing me. However, the sound of our stomachs rumbling in sync forced us to break away from the kiss and look down and touch our bellies.
Maybe we should eat a bit before we continue this?
Huh? I thought they already ate. What happened? Good idea. As much as I wanted to keep making out with Damien, I knew my stomach would keep interrupting. So would his, unless we ate. We ate the delicious breakfast Damien made while watching the rest of the news. It was a nice segment, and Matthew even appeared during James's presentation. Oh, that's nice! Soon we were flipping channels and watching random shows. The days passed by lazily. We barely left the bedroom because we didn't want to do anything. It was rather relaxing, surprisingly. I knew that we had to work on the wedding arrangements eventually, but today was not the day for that. We needed a day to ourselves, to remind each other that we were going to be together for a long time. I know! Okay, Jay's the CEO. I know Sam is a police officer. Eric is he's a fashion designer. And Matthew, what does Matthew do again? Oh fuck, I don't remember. Somebody let me know in the comments what he does again. I don't know what Damien's job is. It wasn't long before we found ourselves cuddling into each other's arms, taking a mid-afternoon nap. It was sweet and peaceful, drowsiness that lured both of us to close our eyes together. The darkness of my mind had invited me to stay a while, and I was gladly accepted its invitation. It was nice, and I was enjoying the rest that it gave my body. However, I soon saw that I was not alone in the dark. Whoa! What? What's happening? Damien slowly appeared before me and took my hand, kissing it gently. I felt myself shudder, but it wasn't his nude form or his kiss that surprised me. It was his eyes. My mind recognized those eyes, shivering straining up my body from the sight. Instead of the loving and soft blue and purple his eyes usually were, they were a deep gold. They bore into my soul as Damien continued his lips on my hand. Damien? As Damien smirked against my skin, my body began to feel hot, making me curl into my body. I tried to pull my hand away from him, but he held it firmly, keeping his lips against my skin over my knuckles. No! I recognized the feeling. He was enthralling me. Why was he doing this in my dream? Why was this happening? We continued to float in the darkness, his enthrallment invading my body as he held my hand to him still. I had to make him let go. I had to! Stop! I was finally able to pull my hand away and held it close to my chest. Damien stared in shock before something dark covered in my eyes.
Look out!
What? Huh? From out of nowhere, Diana's voice rang through the air, followed by the sounds of the intense battle. I looked around the darkness unsure of what was going on, but something did not feel right. Whoa! As I stood, lost in the dark, I felt a heavy weight put upon my back, forcing me down. It was as if a large boulder was pressing on me, wanting to crush me underneath its weight. I fought against it, gritting my teeth as I shrugged. A large grunt echoed over me, forcing me to look up and see Diana push at the boulder to get it off me. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Why would Diana ever help me? What is happening? Both forced it off my body, and soon I found myself looking into the great hall of the Incubi's old castle in the Abyssal Plains. The interior was as regal as I remembered, but behind me was broken down entrance where I assumed the boulder had originated from. However, Diana and I weren't alone.
Is she alright?
Whoa! Okay, again, Damien's route surprises me because this is so different from the others. Every time we had, like, the dream or the nightmare of, like, whatever's gonna happen or the bad ending, they never showed the Demon Lord. They just showed either, like, we're in darkness or, like, what the Incubi is gonna do at the bad ending. This is new.
I wouldn't worry about her, you mistake!
I stared as the Demon Lord and Damien squared off with each other. In the Demon Lord's hands was a large chain, covered with dried blood, and my stomach churned at the sight.
She will never leave this world alive as long as I live!
I looked at Damien, then back at the Demon Lord. What's going on? Why was Diana here? Why was I here? Whoa. As the Demon Lord whipped his chains at Damien, Diana shot a blast of purple energy, forcing it to ricochet away. Diana stepped in front of me and Damien, glaring hard at the Demon Lord, and preparing another spell in her hands.
Go with her. I'll deal with this once and for all.
If I'm going to fall here, all of you will fall with me!
What the hell? The Demon Lord, with a crazed grin, pointed his hand towards the ceiling and let an angry howl, causing tremors and quake run through the room. Diana shot her hands upwards and formed a purple barrier around our bodies, but she winced with every stone that fell and slammed under the barrier.
I can't hold it!
Are we gonna die here?
This castle will be your grave!
My instinct was to reach out and hold on to Damien, but before I could move, he grabbed my face and kissed me roughly. I stared at him, wondering what he was doing, but I kissed him back and dug my fingers into his shoulder. Was this dream going to end with us dying? As Damien pulled away, I saw tears begin to form in his eyes. I stared as he gently pulled away from me and ran outside of Diana's barrier, with the Demon Lord, picking up the fallen sword from the ground. No! Oh no, is he gonna sacrifice himself? What is he doing? With a courageous shout, Damien slashed at the Demon Lord, forcing him to quickly jump backwards towards the throne.
Keep her safe!
What? Are you insane? You're powerless against him!
Listen to Diana! What are you doing, dude?
You're faster than me as a demon. I won't be able to get out of here fast enough for us both to survive.
Damien? I wasn't sure what was happening, but I didn't like what I was seeing. Why was Damien telling Diana to keep me safe? I watched as Damien took look at Diana with an affirming glare and nod. What the fuck? Before I could question it, Diana ducked under and threw me over her shoulder. How she managed to be strong enough to perform such a feat was beyond me, but I was too thrown off to care.
You will not be forgotten.
Just go!
What? I reached out to Damien, losing track of what was happening as Diana began to run away from him and the Demon Lord faster than a speeding car. Damien? Damien!
I love you.
No! No, I don't like this. This is gonna be like the saddest one. Or like, because I know Matthew's was like really messed up. That was like in my opinion, Matthew's bad ending was the worst one. But I have a feeling the saddest one is gonna be Damien's. I watched the tears run down Damien's cheeks as he reached back for me, but he remained where he stood. As Diana ran with me over her shoulder, the ceiling began to crumble with the halls, stone and glass falling around the Demon Lord and Damien. The world around me began to go into slow motion as I kept reaching out to Damien, struggling in Diana's arm as she ran. Why is this happening? I could only watch as the Demon Lord approached Damien and quickly wrapped the chain around his neck, pulling him into the air and hanging him with it like an executioner's noose. Oh my god. Damien tried to place his feet on the Demon Lord while his fingers crawled at the chains, trying to find some purchase. As he managed to get on his feet around the Demon Lord's neck, a large avalanche of stone fell over their bodies, hiding them from sight. I couldn't be sure, but it looked like they'd been crushed. What? The world around me began to break apart as I began to scream in agony at what I was forced to witness. It couldn't have been real. I didn't want it to be real. I let the darkness of my dreams envelop me as I mentally repeat over and over that was not real. Once again, I was floating in darkness, curled myself into an overwhelming sadness. Why was this happening? Why was I being forced to see this nightmare after nightmare? I dug my nails into my arms, wanting to wake up already. Please let me wake up, please. As I felt my body begin to fall, I let go of my arms and tried to reach for something to stop my rapid descent. Faster and faster, I felt my body tremble and fall through the darkness of an unknown oblivion. I tried to grasp anything to catch me, to stop me. I eventually woke up, holding on to Damien as I refocused my vision. I was back in my room. I had landed and woken up before I felt the impact. Or perhaps the impact woke me up? My grip on his shirt woke Damien up from his sleep, gasping and looking at me.
God, what happened? What's wrong?
What the fuck, Damien? What is that? I'm gonna fucking cry with his root art. What the hell? I instantly wrapped my arms around him, needing to feel him physically. It wasn't enough to see or hear him, but the feeling of his body being around my arms reassured in my mind that he was okay, and that he was here with me, alive. Damien looked to me and wrapped his arms around me, letting out a small sigh and nuzzling me softly.
Another nightmare?
I could only nod against his shoulder. I was quivering in his arms, but I was thankful that everything was okay. My dream was just that, a dream. I sighed and kissed his cheek softly, silently apologizing. Damien held me close for a long time, understanding my need to simply feel him. He didn't pull away, nor did he speak. He simply held me and gently nuzzled me to help me fully calm down from my fear. Please tell me we're gonna tell him. If we don't mention this, I'm gonna be really angry. I felt his hand gently pat my hair, aiding my shift from sadness into a relaxing calm. Everything was fine. Everything was okay. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep getting nightmares.
You can't control your dreams.
My memories flashed back to the first time he said that to me. It was the day right after we met. He had saved me from my nightmare of Malik's. I let a smile across my cheeks as I looked up at Damien. You told me that after we first met. Damien gently pulled away and smiled at me, kissing my cheeks.
I did, didn't I? You remember that?
I nodded. I never want to forget how we met. He and his brothers came to the human world and arrived at my house, where I got to be with them and learn about them. At the same time, I was able to become close to Damien and fall in love with him. Yes, there were some bumps along the way, but we were able to get through them. Even were able to give Damien something he desperately wanted, to be human. Damien gently caressed my cheek, inviting me to nuzzle his palm, and he smiled down at me as he laid his forehead against mine.
No matter what comes our way, I promise to protect you and love you for the rest of my life.
No, that means you're gonna die! What the fuck? You'll never leave me? Damien shook his head and I believed him. His simple smile was enough for me to understand that he was telling the absolute truth. He wouldn't leave me and I would never leave him. Oh my god. He's gonna fucking die. Oh my god. I nuzzled my nose to his, looking up at his beautiful eyes. You don't regret not being a demon anymore? He shook his head again. I knew that he was beyond happy to be human, but the nightmares made me worry over and over without relenting. I knew it was worrying over nothing, but the more than anything, I wanted Damien to be happy. I couldn't help but worry. Oh my god, and we're not telling him we had this dream and we saw your fucking father and then you sacrificed yourself. Come on! Why? Michaela, why can't you let me tell them? I slowly tilted my head and captured his lips with mine, kissing him ever so softly. He returned my kiss, his arms tightening around my body. My worries slowly began to melt away and drift as he held me. I could feel my body slowly draw closer to Damien's, craving more of his touch. My fingers gently traveled up his shoulders and ran through his hair, brushing through the strands lovingly. He shivered at my touch, making me tremble in response. The thing was, I had just woken up from a nightmare. Was it right to feel like this right now? My mind questioned my body's intentions, and my body ignored every logical reason my mind had to put to stop the situation. I had to listen one or the other. Let's say. Okay, so we either do it or we don't. I mean, fuck it, cause, smut, but I feel like in this situation, I think it's okay. Right? Am I weird? I don't know. Something in my body was calling for Damien. I didn't care about what I had just witnessed. I was attracted to him and needed more of him. It was crazy, but I didn't care. I was in love with him and also D+. I think it's fine. I mean, they're in an established relationship. They're engaged. They're free to do this. And she just had a nightmare, so I think it's fine. I slowly dragged my hands down and began to undo his shirt. And the sexy music turns on. Needing to feel his bare chest with my fingers. In response, Damien dipped his hand under my shirt and up my back. And I shivered in delight as he reached to my spine. Couldn't help but moan against his lip at his touch, loving how his fingers seasonally and lovely ran down my back. As his chest was bare to me, I ran my fingertips over his toned skin and arched my back towards him. Damien smirked slightly against my lips as he reached farther underneath my shirt, discovering that I wasn't wearing a bra. Oh, that's nice. And feeling his bare skin where the clasp would be. I opened my eyes, watching him stare down at me lovingly, yet less full gaze. Just his stare made me feel weak in his arms and made me moan once again against his lips and soon into his arms. Damien moved his hands away so that I could fully remove his shirt from his body before helping me out of mine, pulling away from his kiss to do so. I whimpered at the loss, but I knew that it had to be done. As Damien gathered me back into his arms, I wrapped my arms around his neck, needing him to be closer. He became much more daring whenever we were about to make love. It was almost like a complete character change whenever a passion took over. He knew what he was doing, he knew exactly where to hold me and make me melt against him. He used to be an incubus, so I hope he knew that. Damien slowly ran his hands down my back and slipped them under the hem of my pants and panties, gripping to my bare rear and massaging each cheek oh so lovingly. That's good. Oh god, we're starting again with the freaking, oh my god, this is like Sam's root, oh my god. I pulled away from his kiss and moaned into the air between us, gripping his shoulders at the feeling. It wasn't helping that the heat and need in my core were flaring to have him take me as he groped my ass and made my nerves jump and shaking in desire. That's good for them. Good for them. I looked at Damien with a half-lit eyes, feeling my desire increase with each press of his fingers and palms. He had a small smirk on his lip, and I licked my own at the sight. Damien gently leaned in and nipped my mouth, biting my lower lip and sending a pleasurable wave down my body into a already tightening core. As he released it, he leaned his forehead against mine, staring deep into my eyes.
Are you sure you want to do this? I don't think I'll be able to stop myself if I continue.
God damn it, what the fuck? I didn't want to hear it. I grabbed his head and pulled him back into a passionate kiss, needing him to stop from suggesting that we stop. I didn't want to stop. I wanted him. Damien took the hint and kissed me back deeply. He dug his fingers into my skin, making me arch my back further and grind against him in need. I was drowning in desire and needed him immediately. Not fast enough, he had removed the remainder of our clothes from our bodies as we were making sweet passionate love, our breath and moans echoing through the room, shamelessly and relentlessly. That's good. I mean, it's their home, so they can do it. Each word that let out became a declaration of love, of pleasure, of eternal bliss between us as we rocked the mattress passionately. My fingers sensed and dragged themselves along the skin, leaving lovely red marks in their wake. We didn't need a demon enthrallment to feel the intense pleasure between us. We made each other feel perfect as humans, and that was all that mattered when we held each other. Soon our moans became harder and louder, driving alongside our pleasure and ecstasy. That's good. Good for them again. My fingernails began to dig into his skin and onto the bedsheets as I began to apex and rush over the highest point. As I finally passed through the peak of my pleasure, so did he. We were both blissful and warm. We slowly melted into the afterglow of our sex and cuddled with each other, not wanting to lose the warmth between our bodies. Our sex was a part of how we expressed our love for each other, and we didn't want to lose any bit of it. Damien cradled me in his arms and kissed my forehead before kissing me on his lips gently.
I am yours. Forever.
Aww. And I'm yours. It wasn't long before I closed my eyes and fell asleep again. This time, I was able to float in blissful darkness uninterrupted. Okay, we're gonna end the episode there. Jesus Christ. So that was interesting. I once again, Damien's route keeps surprising me because it's so different it has a different feel from the other groups. I don't know if it's just because his story is like the saddest, or it's just because Damien is considered like the bastard son out of all of them, and that's why he's a little bit different from the rest of the boys. But I like it. I like that his is very different. And also that he's a cinnamon roll. We need to protect him, okay? If you guys enjoyed this episode of Seduce Me, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to join the companions, and let me know if you haven't played Damien's route, what you think about his route so far. I like that it started out with smut. That's very good. If you guys would like to support me on Patreon, there's a link in the description where you can check out. You get early access to videos, Patreon Patreon-only videos, my Discord server, and a bunch of other stuff. Or if you prefer, if you want to purchase stuff from my art store, there's a link in the description too. Anyway, when we come back, we'll find out what happens, and hopefully it's not sad, because I feel like I'm gonna cry with his. I feel like his is the saddest one. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye! Everyone looks nervous. Hell, I'm nervous. I'm scared. Like, seriously. Too many questions. Will we get to leave? Will the truth be too much? I'm scared shitless.
Well then, as disappointing as this experiment was, there was always meant to be an